This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Chris Cantrell. Thanks for joining.
Welcome back. Doing another podcast. The boys are back in town.
Woo! That's right. Everyone's back in town together again.
Tonight we're just going to wing it, and we're going to get going on talking about the season coming up because it's only a couple weeks away. Bear season's coming up. It sounds like Jim's going up for opening day.
Yep, I will be out on opening day and hopefully be up in the backcountry somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going to hopefully hit the weekend. Like
and
a weekend
I won't
warrior.
be hitting any of that.
Chris will be at the fair.
I will be working and
work
I'll be at the
party.
parade. Yes.
Oh, yes. I will also be at the parade.
Yeah.
I have to be back
Yeah.
by the weekend because I got a booth up at the fair and I got a parade spot as well.
Yeah.
So we're doing Parade Brothers again.
Parades.
What are you parading, Jim?
My 12th van business.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gonna drive your van down the...
Yep. Throw
Down-
candy
down
out
the
for the
fair.
kids.
Yeah.
You know, they say you're not supposed to throw candy out. It's just like we throw a lot of candy.
Yeah,
Dude,
throwing
we threw-
candy out of vans isn't really a whole good look there,
We
Jim.
threw like,
Fine.
I think it was like 10,000 lollipops last
I
year.
learned my lesson last year because I bought a bunch of candy and it was not enough.
Dude, it's not enough.
And then you feel so bad. It's the most gut-wrenching feeling at the end looking at all the kids and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't have any more candy. Sorry, kids.
Uh,
You got the worst spot out of the parade.
Except for they're already loaded.
Yeah. Well, at the end, all the kids are getting screwed over because all the people threw their candy out too early.
Yeah, that's why you want to be at the beginning of the parade.
That's right. When everyone's all excited,
tip.
it's like, hey, kids.
Pro tip.
pro tip.
If
Bring
you
your
want all the
kids
candy, go in the front.
Yeah.
To the beginning of the parade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we gotta real quick. So Joey Pyburn was supposed to be here, from old Ray's Bait in the outdoor line, but he had a little bit of a work mishap, and I don't know if you guys. Well, it won't air today, so you won't see James's post today. What is today?
Today is
Wednesday
the 17th.
Wednesday the 17th. So
Yeah.
James had a post today on his personal page.
Oh, yeah.
Just about small business. So James and I are small business owners. Doug works for a small business. We all work very, very hard. And Joey owns Ray's Bait, or is part owner of Ray's Bait. And so we all own these businesses. We work really hard. Things come up, and sometimes you have to eat a shit sandwich. So that's what Joey's doing right now. He had to drive down to Auburn to fix one of his trucks and eat a shit sandwich. And he's owning it, and he's running his business. He's doing a great job. So shout out to Ray's Bait. Good job, Joey. You're doing a good job. If you ever buy any sort of bait, if you can buy Ray's Bait,
Yeah.
Joey's a great guy. Ray was in the gun shop here just recently. Ray's a fantastic human being. Super quality product. Good people.
Yeah.
Highly
Well, and as far
recommend.
as like baits go, might as well go local anyway. It's
Might as
gonna
well
be
go
better
local
stuff.
anyways. Yeah,
And
good
he's
people.
been doing it a long time.
Dude, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So-
Joey, we miss you. We're sorry you couldn't be here.
We love you, Joey.
I'm having a bourbon for you right now. I don't even know if Joey drinks bourbon, but I'm having a bourbon anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, it's been a long.
We'll have one. We'll have one for you.
Yep. So we're gonna wing it today. We were planning on talking about some tactics for the upcoming bear season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we wanted to hear about his trip to Alaska.
Yeah,
And, now
and then we were
got-
gonna have him talk about some of his tips, but we can give some of our tips.
Oh, yeah.
So
But real quick, Doug, Joey got drawn. So we put in for the same draws because I feel that we're two super cool guys. So I didn't get drawn for the spring hunt. I got drawn for the same area for the fall hunt, which unfortunately is a completely different hunt, right? Even though it's the same exact area, because the bears, which James is going to talk about here shortly, they're in the spring and the fall. You might as well be hunting a different species, right?
Right.
Because it's completely different. So he got to go hunt the beaches and cruise around a boat and low tide, and it's the most incredible. If you've ever Google, if you guys are YouTube folks, on the YouTube TV or whatever, you can look up spring bear hunt, Prince of Wales.
mm-hmm.
It's freaking incredible. I'm not trying to get more people to put in for that hunt, obviously,
Right.
and ruin it.
Well, at
'Cause I
this
didn't get
point,
drawn.
like, there's been a dozens and dozens of films
Oh
put
yeah,
out. And, like,
yeah.
everyone knows. Like,
I'm pretty sure old Steven Ranella kind of let the cat out of the bag on that one, right?
Yeah.
But I've hunted up there a bunch. It's incredible, and I got the fall hunt, which is a completely different hunt, which I will talk about all the tips and tactics and post hunt and everything after I do that. But it's gonna be pretty incredible. But Joey shot a bear that was absolutely massive, and here's the best thing. I don't know if you guys follow him or not, but you should follow him on the Instas because he has a picture of this bear. And like sometimes I may not shoot the biggest bears, allegedly, right?
Listen, we all have our moments.
And you can tell because I'm a big guy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a plus size fella, and
We also don't always hold our standards very high either.
no, not at all. So when I shoot a big
When
bear,
you have the saying, it's brown, it's down, it's bound to happen.
and you gotta post it. I'm gonna post a picture either way, right?
Right, 'cause
Because
we
I'm
don't care.
gonna get it life size.
Yeah.
So when you take the picture, and so this is hilarious because my mother-in-law, who's a single gal, she had one of her beaux over, who's a great human being. His name's Larry, Larry from Ellensburg, great dude, and he's 80, right? 80 or 81, I think, and we're unloading some hay down for the horses earlier. And he goes, hey, I wanted to show you this picture I got. And he pulls out a picture of me with a bear I shot from bear camp last year, that little cinnamon bear I shot.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, so are you sitting 30 miles or 40 miles behind this bear? He's 80, right? And he pulls up a picture from Instagram to talk shit. And I was like, strong work, Larry. Yeah, I am sitting very far behind that bear. Because it was a tiny bear, but like people don't realize, like I'm 6'4". In that picture I was probably 285, 290.
Did you tell him you packed it out in your backpack?
Oh
by
yeah,
yourself?
dude, I could just put it in my pocket, like I just stuffed it. Not even my big pocket, my little pocket.
I remember I texted or called you, and you're like, no, I'm just gonna throw it in my pack and on my way.
Yep, I'm good.
I'll be good,
So we
guys.
just hung out for a little bit. Next thing you know, I see Chris pop out of the bomb. There he is.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can pack a couple 100 pounds out of my pack, no problem. It's not a big deal. So it's no big deal,
But the moral of this story is there's a lot of trickery.
Oh,
When it comes to people showing off the pictures of their bears and stuff, like if you look on the internet, it's not hard to pick out which is trickery and which is probably like, wow, that's impressive.
do you know where I learned that?
The trickery?
Yeah.
Who taught you the trickery?
The very first trip I did, it was in 2004, 2003, 2004, I think.
It doesn't really matter that much, Chris.
It was 3 or 4.
2000,
I was
3 or
thinking
4.
back. I was thinking back to when I met my wife, so I think it was 3.
Okay.
Because it was before I met Dawn, and I had gone to South Africa with my dad, and it was a Christmas gift. My dad's the best freaking human being ever, so he gives me this gift of Africa at Christmas. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be the most thing. And like we didn't have money, right, when we grew up. We were poor as shit, so we grow up, and he's like, hey, I'm taking you to Africa. I'm like, oh, this is incredible, jacked. So we go to Africa. And I remember it's a plains game hunt, which if you've never been to Africa, it's like super cheap. Like you can go on a plains game hunt, shoot a dozen animals, cheaper than you can shoot one elk here. Like it's literally, it's incredible. So I go, I shoot these animals. It's a great, incredible hunt. But I remember the guys, they took like the amount of time it took to hunt the animal and kill the animal. That's how much time it took to take the picture. And I'm like,
Really?
okay, yeah. And he would position me like, which I felt at the time was like a mile behind the critter, but he would have this certain angle, like he would angle the animal towards you, and you would sit at the back end of the animal, but I would never even I couldn't even put a hand out and touch it. Like,
really?
Dude, trickery up the ass.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So that's where this trickery comes from.
South Africa, dude. 100%. Yeah.
See, I feel like
because they're not all that big.
Dude, they're tiny.
So Joey made a comment of like, I wanted to show people, like, because I'm tired of people calling out on
Exactly.
like, the internet,
Yeah.
like, oh, you're just sitting behind it and doing like photo trickery and stuff. I feel like me and Joey are trying to be kindred spirits in this aspect because I've been trying to take pictures that with hands on, like showing the angles of the animal and just showing it for what it is, really. Yeah, you want it to look a little bit bigger than it is, but also at the same time, you want to be
I think
like,
we've done like the sit like back, but
oh yeah, like with deer and like and
distance.
stuff. It's always like the long arm, like
it's like the fish picture.
Yeah.
The arms are out.
Yeah,
the fish pictures.
The fish picture is always 100%. You gotta put it out as far as you can.
100%.
There's no doubt about it.
Unless it's a 40-pound king, then it's really hard to long arm. You're like,
and you're struggling with it. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of that on the internet where you see the picture and you're like, people are like, wow, that's a monster bear, that's a smasher, and you're just like, and you're like, yeah, I've done a lot of the trickery in my time. That's a 200-pound bear. Like,
so if you haven't seen Joey Pyburn on the Instas, his picture of that spring bear in Prince of Wales, he's sitting on it like a horse. And if you look in the bottom right of the picture, like you can see the bear like wrap up. It's a gigantic bear. So shout out to Joey. Fantastic bear. We're going to let him tell the story when he comes back.
yeah.
And his buddy James, not our James, the other James.
It's a good name.
Good name.
We both shot giant bears.
Dude,
Yeah.
the bear he shot was like, I call it the classic American bear.
I wonder.
So
obese.
So obese.
I wonder
Just
what
the
that
fattest
bear-
The McDonald's bear.
Dude, McDonald's bear. Yeah.
I wonder what that bear that Joey shot's going to score. I'm very curious because it looked like it had a long skull too.
It was a big bear.
The noggin on that thing was huge.
Dude, it was a big bear.
There's been some good bears shot this last spring.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to what fall's going to bring. Speaking of fall hunting, is coming up in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we got plans to be out. Doug's going to be out in a different area. I'm going to be in a different area.
Yeah.
Chris is going to be doing whatever Chris does.
I'm going to be working.
Yep. But we're hoping that we can all at least get together for one hunt. Would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to make it work. But
I mucked it up with South Africa trip at the end of August.
I know. Chris had to go and do a South Africa trip right in the best part of bear hunting. But
Well, you never know. Best bear hunting might be at the beginning of the month.
that's true.
We'll see.
I think this is.
The berries are pretty early.
Let's be. I don't think they're that early. I think this is more like a typical year because I notice blueberries are not even really starting. Well, there's a few starting to turn a little bit, like of the regular blueberries down around here. So,
Dude, my huckleberries.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like-
I already picked most of my blueberries.
did you really? Jeez,
The-
Doug has some weird blueberry
The
plants.
alpine berries, Jim. What was it the weekend after July?
Mhm.
They were starting to turn color.
Really? So maybe the first week of August is going to be good then.
Dude, my huckleberries.
It's gonna, yeah.
All right, this is one of the best berry years I've ever had.
For huckleberries?
Dude, mega crop.
Yeah, I know we were.
I
eating
think
them
this
the other
long
day.
heat span that we've been having, I think it's really gonna make the berries go.
Dude,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So I'm thinking it's gonna be in.
Well,
early
you don't
season.
even need to have them in full peak. Like
No,
you just have
because
to
we
have 'em start
spotted
to
that
come
bear.
on.
Yeah, as long as they're there. It
If
don't
they're coming
matter.
on at all,
Yeah.
there's going to be bears
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Dude, the
They're-
ones over by my mother-in-law's place, I didn't even show you those guys.
Some Dandies. Maybe we'll have to go pick some berries before.
Dude, you're going to poop your pants. That's how good they are. They are incredible. Dude, I've never seen them like this. I'm
Really?
not kidding. I mean,
The huckleberries.
loaded,
Yeah.
like crazy thick. I'm out there and I'm looking at the bush and I'm like, why is that bush so like? Because like sometimes the like the little leaves turn red or whatever, and it was all berries.
All berries.
That's awesome.
I'm like,
That's probably what the bears are mowing down on right now around here.
oh,
They're
100%.
hammering those huckleberries. Huckleberries and salmon
Yeah, because
berries.
the salmon berries are. Yeah,
They're pretty much almost
pretty
done
much-
now.
Yeah.
And real quick for our listeners, we have real huckleberries here, not like Montana huckleberries that are blueberries. Okay?
That's mountain huckleberries,
Yeah, mountain
basically.
huckleberries.
They're blueberries.
We have those here.
They're blueberries,
too.
Doug.
Yeah, those
They're
are up in
blueberries.
higher country, but
It's higher, but it's below the alpine. Like in the timber, it's all the mountain huckleberries, and then once you finally break that, that
I don't know,
elevation.
there's mixed patches too. Like
I'm sure there is, but
Doug, I feel like you're trying to explain the different 8 types of blacktails we have in Washington. They're all blacktails, bro.
they're all blacktails.
Well, if you go on one
What are
side
you,
of
a-
I-5,
What are you, a berry
oh,
snob?
the funny thing is like we grew up saying like huckleberries, and we
Yeah.
were like they're red,
Yeah,
right?
huckleberries are red.
Yeah.
They are.
like huckleberries growing out of an old cedar stump
Yep.
in clusters.
Yep.
That's huckleberries to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first time I found this out, I took a train with my brother-in-law to Whitefish. I got a buddy that lives in Whitefish, right? And first time I'd ever been there, this is like 20 years ago. And we go out. We're super hungover. We've been drinking the Chardonnays all night. And I'm like, huckleberry pancakes. That sounds so good. And she brings me out blueberry pancakes. And I'm like, and I'm not this guy, right? I'm not like, excuse me. I'm like, and I go, oh, ma'am, sorry. I ordered huckleberry pancakes. She goes, yeah, that's what I gave you. I go, no, these are blueberry pancakes. She goes, no, those are huckleberries. And I'm like, no, these are blueberries. Like, I felt like it was like the 50 Cent, like, grapefruit conversation, you know? I'm like, these are not huckleberries.
You're arguing with some poor old lady at a cafe about what the pancakes
In the middle
were.
of East Jesus Whitefish. Yeah, with my buddies, and they're like, no, those are huckleberries. I'm like, no, they're not. These are blueberries.
That's so funny.
And to this day, they're blueberries to me. They taste like blueberries. They look like blueberries.
They definitely don't taste the same as the red
No.
huckleberries.
No.
For sure. I don't, here's the question. Would a bear prefer a blueberry looking huckleberry or
for sure.
a red huckleberry?
Yeah. I think our huckleberries, the real huckleberries, are more tart.
Yeah, they are.
They're way more tart. And they're smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you ever seen a bear down here eating the huckleberries?
Minus me, no.
I have.
You have?
But, I mean, how often are you sitting on a huckleberry bush watching it?
I don't know if you see big huckleberry bushes and fields all over the place.
You don't.
No,
they're usually growing out of old cedar
Yeah.
stumps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're almost
yeah.
always grown out of an old cedar
Yeah,
stump.
so they're here or there. It's
Yeah.
not like it's a
It's
No.
not like
great source of food
the
for 'em.
blueberry
No.
bushes
Yeah.
that grow everywhere.
I mean, a bear's going to have a great
And the
memory
reason
bank
why
of
they're
where all
growing
the cedar
everywhere is
stumps are.
because their bears are eating them and they're
Yeah.
shitting all over the place.
Yep.
Speaking of,
They're climbing
you,
up on old cedar stumps and shitting so they can plant more huckleberries.
You were
The
just
bears are like the huckleberry seed farmer.
yeah. Weren't you just up in some blueberry patches?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
a gigantic bear,
yeah.
Yeah,
And he was already eating berries, the blueberries.
and those weren't even ripe, right?
No, yeah, those are the alpine blueberries, and they weren't even ripe yet.
So if you go to Doug's Instagram, Doug Joyce,
also on the bear country, too. I
And
think we
bear
posted
country.
something.
Doug was up in East Jesus and posted a freaking smasher bear eating blueberries, not huckleberries.
He was eating probably green blueberries.
Yeah, just mowing though.
He's
like,
just-
dude,
He's like
Eating
taking
the whole
advantage.
plant. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't even eat just the berries. They eat the whole plant.
yeah,
They just like rip off leaves and everything.
dude,
Yeah.
he was going to
Yeah.
town. Yeah,
Yeah, he was eating tart berries for
he's
sure.
he's gonna be so,
So-
fat in a couple months,
He
we
was
should-
already fat.
dude. He was pretty.
Yeah, dude, that bear
was
bear's
like,
great
how
eating.
For a
the
spring,
hell?
for
We
like,
might be up there opening day, so we'll see. Maybe we find him.
I bet you see him again.
Big bear like that. I sure hope so.
we don't want to talk about big bears and not seeing them, guys. Okay, so a little fresh for me. As everyone knows, I didn't shoot my spring bear that I was after, and I ate a very large financial shit sandwich, trying to pay for that hunt twice.
Try to kill the 500-pound blueberry pie filling bear.
Yeah, blueberry pie filling.
Yeah, I went twice. I went
Yeah.
twice, guys. I'm not gonna lie. There's no
Dude,
shame in my game.
I
You
bet
were
you.
committed.
I bet you the fat on that bear's ass was probably like almost pink.
It was probably thick as this beer can is tall.
Dude, I bet you it was 6 inches thick.
Oh yeah.
That was the fattest spring bear I've ever
Just
seen.
a giant jelly roll.
Yeah, and I wanted it, and
know-
I'm not one to pass a bear, guys.
I know that.
I'm not that guy.
It was very admirable that you stuck after it and you went after that bear and you wanted him, and you were fully committed. You were willing to risk it all.
I did.
You had like the gambling sickness.
I did. I really did.
Because you were like, this.
You
this
put
is
all
a-
your money on black on that weekend.
Well, we had that conversation, me and Chris.
Yeah.
Like, this is a once in a lifetime bear,
Yeah.
right? Like, that bear may get shot or just die of old age or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that bear's gone, and you might not have another opportunity at a bear like that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a once in a lifetime bear,
I mean,
unless you get one like that every year.
they found a skull. Remember, he said they found a skull that was like 20
It was 21 and something.
21 and a half?
He said 21 and a half.
that died of old age in there,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay,
Right where that bear was.
right. And this bear was now.
That was a really, really good spot,
to back it up.
Yeah.
a
to be
little bit,
honest.
You
It
know,
was.
I'm not the best at judging bears, right? Like, I feel like sometimes I think like, oh, that bear was bigger than it is, or like,
Especially at distance.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm shooting a bear at 6, 7, 8, 900 yards, I'm like, and you take your time, you try and judge it, you look at your ears and the body and everything. Like, I've shot bears where I was like, I thought they were way bigger, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I saw this bear and I was like, I am shooting. This is the biggest bear I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest bear I've ever seen. It was huge.
Well, and you don't see him that big.
No,
Not in Washington.
no.
That's usually like that's a Quebec, Canada bear,
Dude.
or like an East Coast Maine bear.
It was so big.
So it was a adventure though.
I would have liked to
And a
shoot a bear
story.
on that trip, and I didn't. Shit happens.
You can only do what you
You, know,
can.
you can only ask for so much.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, when you commit,
when you commit. But looking
Hard.
forward, we got 2 weeks. Season opens.
mm-hmm.
We still have 2 tags because we have so many bears in Washington until our Fish and Game Commission totally screws that up.
Yep.
As
So
well.
there's 6 tags sitting on the table between the 3 of us right now.
I plan on going to Hammertown, dude.
I hope to fill one.
Doug just wants one.
I just
I hope you fill two.
I just want one. It's been too many years.
Yep. I think I want to shoot one early, and then I'd like to shoot one later. So that's my goal.
I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to go because I got Africa right in the middle. It's kind of messing it up.
You can
figure
just go with Jim in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
I'm going in the middle of the month, even if it's for the weekend. We could at least fill one tag.
We'll see
Hopefully.
how the rental turns out.
Yeah. That's another thing, people. If you have other obligations at home, it gets in the way of hunting a lot of times.
I have a tenant that just moved out of one of our rentals. He completely kicked the shit out of it. It looks terrible. So we basically have to gut the whole thing. So we have 2,300 square feet of crap we have to replace. And it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's a financial mess. It's a time mess. It's a mess. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully it goes smoothly so you can get some time for hunting.
I hope so.
But let's talk about some tips,
Tips.
some pro tips.
I got some pro tips.
All right, let's hear. So, what would be? Let's pretend, hypothetical here. I'm a new bear hunter.
You're a new bear hunter.
I've never shot a bear yet,
Nope.
and I've gone 2 years in a row.
Right.
I haven't even laid eyes on a bear.
You suck.
I know I do. Okay,
That's the first thing.
and if you're listening and that's you, I'm sorry, Doug is so mean.
I'm in that boat too. Don't worry, guys.
So, what would you say would be your number one tip to be like, help that guy get on a bear this opening weekend?
I'm gonna give it. It's gonna be the number one tip, but there's gonna be multiple facets of it.
Okay.
All right. So the number one would be wherever you're at, you need to find the food source, whatever they're eating. So, and it's gonna be berries this time of year, right?
Always.
So whether it be like salmon berries, blueberries, huckleberries, whatever kind of berry, right? So you need to find that ripe berry source.
And how are you going to find that berry source?
You need to get off your ass and get in the woods, right? That's the only way to find it. Like, don't look on the internet.
Don't look what people are talking about. You gotta do it yourself.
I mean, you need to figure it out.
Because every area is different, right?
Yeah, every area is different. So, like, if you're in, let's say, for instance, I live in Spokane, right? I have no idea. I've never hunted Spokane, but let's say I live in Spokane. So I'm going to say Spokane is like in East Jesus, and it's flat, and there's like no berries. So I got to figure out like what bears eat there. I don't even know if they have bears there, but anyways.
Oh, they got bears in Spokane.
So I'm going to say they eat. Make up a berry name. Here you go. There's a million types of food, and I'm going to find that, and it's at this elevation, and the kicker is. You gotta get out and put eyes on it, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta figure out where it's at.
So you're looking for the berries themselves,
right?
And probably
how ripe they are, and I'm looking for sign.
So you're looking for shit.
100%.
If you can find the shit.
When I say sign, I mean shit.
Okay. I think we've said that a lot.
Like you need to look for berries, and you need to look for shit.
Look for food and look for shit.
Yeah.
Because if there's no shit, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Because bears don't like sneak off into the woods to poop. They poop
everywhere.
Wherever they're at, where they're eating, they poop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're in a big berry patch and there's no poop around anywhere, and you're like, huh, all these berries look like they haven't been touched.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably not in a
You're in the wrong spot.
Yeah. Or they just haven't been hit yet.
They haven't been hit yet. And Doug and me have
we've played that battle a handful of times.
Yeah. Doug's always like, they ain't hit nothing.
They haven't hit none of this, and then you're a week early, and then they're there for 3 weeks, and then they're gone.
Yep. Or Doug's like, they haven't hit any of this. That area's blown out. And then I'm like, well, they'll be there any minute. I'm going to go hunt it today. And then I go shoot a bear off of it. Doug's like,
well, that's
damn
what
it.
happened last year is I went over there the first weekend of August and went and put out a camera, and the berries were like almost ripe, right? And they hadn't been touched yet. Like there was no sign, nothing.
When they hit it, they hit it
and
hard.
then I had my camera out there, and for like 2 weeks I had bears galore on my camera. And then we go back there, and there's nothing. But there's sign everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's 2 weeks old.
Yep.
So they come in, they ransack the place, and then they move on to the next.
So when it's getting's good, you find that fresh sign, you're hunting it that day.
Yeah.
You have to, because they are like
They're there.
Like what Doug's saying, ransack. That's not. I mean, it's legit scorched earth. Like they will destroy an area and then move on
Until it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they'll move on. They are not coming back. When
Nope.
it's gone, it's gone.
When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And they're on to the next food source.
Yeah. And the second half of that would be you need to show up early, and you need to be very, very patient, because I've shot bears in the middle of the day. I've shot bears the very, very, very first thing, and I've shot bears just before dark. And you have to sit there, and you need to be very still and quiet and diligent. And you need to have a good pair of binos, and you just sit there and glass. And I've glassed up shit tons of bears.
Just being patient.
Just being patient.
Yeah. And they pop out.
Yeah.
Like usually out of nowhere.
So I just took the family to Montana and Idaho. Had a great meetup with James in Idaho. Thanks for that, James. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
And we just got some new BX4s. I got the Gen 2 binos out, which are pretty badass because they're tiny. So we have the BX4 rangefinders, which are game changer. If you don't have rangefinders in your binos, you guys are freaking missing out. Yeah. But these are non-rangefinding ones, and they're tiny though.
They're light too.
They're itty bitty, yeah. So I threw them. We took the Weiss car on this trip, and I just threw them in the console, and we're cruising around. And we went to a couple. I posted some of this, family shit on Facebook, and it was like, dude, we saw so much shit. We saw so many critters. Gloria freaking loved. So my daughter was like, Dad, there's a deer. And so I pulled the binos out.
Chris went to Montana for a family trip.
Yeah. We're scouting. Yeah. I'm totally scouting. I'm like, oh, geez.
Hey, hon, why don't we take this long way around?
Let's
It's
take
more
the
scenic.
scenic route.
Yeah.
This is 37 miles of gravel.
Gloria, look at these binos for 3 hours. Just look out that window. And she did.
Just look at it.
It was awesome, dude.
Would you look at that?
It was so much fun. Yeah, would you look at that? We saw so many deer. I saw some freaking smasher whitetails, dude.
Nice.
Big.
I'm excited for November.
Dude, some big old bucks. Yeah, it was super cool. But the Gen 2 BX4s are pretty dope because like I'm looking through them, and I have a giant. It doesn't look like it. Maybe it does. I don't know. But I have a giant head. Like I got a cowboy hat size 8. Like I got a big head, right? And my daughter's itty bitty tiny, right? So she's like, and the eye cups, the new eye cups they have fit really nice. And then my wife was like, a final look, and then she looks and she's like, oh, that's pretty cool, like, that's a deer, and I'm like, oh, it's a 160-inch whitetail, no big deal, like, it's cool.
In the middle of July too.
Yeah.
Dude.
They look so big when they're velvet too.
Well, now is the middle of their growth period too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I saw some
huge growth period.
I saw some dandies.
I know, like you showed me that picture of that buck that you got on camera the other day. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, Junior was a big buck. I'm like, this buck might be bigger than Junior is.
And he's got, at least another week of like their full on growth period.
Yeah, so he's going to lengthen out. All those tines are going to go. Oh.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big deer. I hope we shoot some smasher yard deer this year, like close, local. Like, I'd like to do that.
I'd like to get one big, massy, nasty blacktail this year.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to. Or a big whitetail. I don't know. Maybe a big mule deer. I don't know. That's one thing that's great about Washington is you get to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Either or.
Yeah.
You can't do that with help, but
maybe Jim, if you come over for that September hunt, maybe we shoot some smasher velvet whitetail while we're over there too.
I haven't done that in a while. That would be pretty cool.
And I know there's some big ones in there.
Well, it's like, I'd say that's your second best shot at getting a big whitetail is right at the opening of archery when they're in velvet and they're still kind of on their summer pattern a little bit and they come out a little early.
They haven't been pressured either.
They haven't been pressured. And then obviously the second one is during the rut when they lose their minds. Mm-hmm. And then in between, they're just smart as hell.
Well, I mean, as soon as the Orange Army hits the woods, it's like
as soon as their horns
over.
turn hard, then they're pretty much like start going more nocturnal. There's usually like we're getting completely off topic from the bears, but that's okay. It's usually when there's like a clock that starts, and as soon as their velvet comes off, it's like every day their pattern gets later and later, and then they just go nocturnal. And it's the same thing with blacktails too. Like mule deer are just a little dumber, and they kind of just mosey around a lot more. Mm-hmm. But from my experience, the blacktail and the whitetail, it's like usually that second week of September, they just go doop, 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 and then they just go into nocturnal mode.
And your chances are either right at dawn or right at dusk. Mm-hmm. It's one or the other.
I feel like black bears do that as well, James.
Black bears just like do weirdo action.
I think the older a bear gets, the more mature, smart bears, the faster they go nocturnal.
Yeah.
Because that bear that I was hunting was like, I'm showing up in the day, I'm showing up in the evening, I'm showing up right at dark. I'm nocturnal.
Yep. And then he's like, maybe he'll randomly show up at noon.
Yeah.
On a random day.
Right. Like I'm hungry, I'm not, it's not the rut. Right. Mm-hmm. But I didn't kill him. It sucks. Freaking sucks, guys.
So back to what you were talking about with pro tips of shooting bears and being patient with the time of day.
Yeah.
So I think it's also weather dependent too. So when you have a day that's 100 degrees, your chances are going to be last hour, maybe last 2 hours, depending, and probably the first 2 hours, right?
I think bears are pickier. I really do. I think they're more picky than, like, let's say we're hunting elk, right? I think an elk is more apt to walk around, like, when it's hot as shit, right, for water, and a bear's just lazy, right? It's not, and they're black, right? So you're gonna go.
Well,
hot.
I feel like a black bear is going to be hiding in a little like wet hole,
like down in the cuts, right? Like down in the very
or just a deep
or
shaded
just
area.
a deepest ravine
shady
area, or
yeah.
like dig
When
a
it's
hole
super hot.
and dig a hole and like kind of get in some of that wet like spots,
Yeah. So what I found though is bears will move in the middle of the day sometimes.
Oh, I've shot bears in the middle of the day, yeah.
Yeah, and they will. I think I've shot more bears probably like late morning, like between 10 and 12, than I have in early morning, which is really weird. But I have shot bears early morning, and I've seen bears early morning.
Right.
I feel like I've seen more bears probably early morning, but I've shot more bears late morning.
And I wonder if it's because they eat so much food that they pass out, and then it's just like when they wake up. Right,
It could
and
be,
they're hungry,
or maybe they're thirsty, or
they're
maybe
thirsty, and they
they're
want to
getting
go
hungry,
find
I don't
water.
know.
Yeah,
But I've seen bears also feeding in like the weirdest times where it's just like
Super
90
hot,
degrees
yeah.
out, and there's a bear out feeding for a little bit. But they'll do it in short spurts. Like they'll go and they'll
Yeah.
feed a little bit, and then they'll just go back into the shade.
That's because they never stop moving.
They
Ever.
They don't.
They never, ever. So here's a great pro tip. If you're waiting for a bear to stop before you shoot it, it won't.
Right?
They don't stop.
If you get a second, you got to be on that trigger ready
It's
to
the
pull.
most frustrating thing ever.
Yep.
Especially
Unless
for a
they're
long
sleeping.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is
that's what's so tough about, like, if you see a bear and then you try to get into position, it's like you're gonna lose that bear for a minute trying to reposition
now, if
yourself.
they're on one hillside though, and they're feeding,
Yeah,
they'll probably be on the same hillside, but they're not going to be in the same spot. Probably.
yeah. But if it's in like a little tight little spot where you see him in the opening, and then you re-maneuver to another spot, the chances of catching him still there is slim to none.
Right.
He could be close, but
Well, the perfect this will bring back some memories for Chris and for me. We had a little bit of a moment once where there was this bear on this open hillside, and we spot him, and we're like, holy shit, there's that bear, and it's on this open hillside, and it's moving like you remember it was moving down. It was moving kind of fast, and it was like I was like, hurry up and take a shot. Because that once it gets in that shit, we're who knows? Like it could be gone forever. And Chris is like, yeah, okay. And he's like getting in position. And then we got a little tussle, right?
yeah.
He didn't like me saying, you better hurry up.
James is not
You know what's funny is Jim has been like that with everybody.
He's not a great hunting guide.
Hardsock bitches
Yeah.
about that too. He's like,
I'm a good hunting guide because I'm the like, hey, let's just calm down.
yeah. She's like, hurry up and shoot it.
And James is like,
Oh, I'm like, I don't like, see, my problem is I don't like an opportunity to get away.
yeah.
And so when I'm thinking that you're not going to shoot fast enough,
I'm gonna freaking.
I'm trying to hurry the
And you would think
situation
that he
along.
would know with like the 100 animals that's surrounding us right now, but he's yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't like this.
So needless to say, the bear was, but it's the bears move. Like they just move.
They constantly move.
And
It's
if
super
you catch one in
frustrating.
the open, it's not staying in the open. It's
No.
going towards the nearest brush all the time. It's trying to stay in thick cover all the time.
Speaking of, I have a buddy, Jason Moore, lives in Eastern Washington, he's in Sela, I think. I think it's in Sela right now. Anyways, I built him a 300 Ultra Mag, and we're out hunting in Montana. And like I said, I'm a very much get set. I need to know my range. I want to know the wind. I want to know the temperature. I want to know I need to know everything, right, before I pull the trigger, right? I'm not a quick shot, right? I mean, if I have to, maybe. If it's not super far, probably not, right?
Yeah, within like 300.
James
yards.
is a cowboy. I'm no cowboy, right? I can.
We just grew up shooting stuff within 100 yards.
Yeah,
So that's
like
That's the
that's what it
difference
is.
in hunting, learning to hunt white-tailed deer during modern season, where you're not sitting,
Right.
you're doing walking around. So that's where the whole
Yeah.
shoot fast.
Yeah,
Because you have to.
And hunting with counselors.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I've shot multiple elk at like 1,000 yards.
Because if you don't
right?
pull the trigger first, then you ain't getting shit.
And he's like shooting stuff at 50 yards in the brush, and it's a totally different thing. So we're back to the story. We're in Montana. Jason Moore. He's a little. Speaking of, maybe it's a cowboy thing because he's a freaking cowboy. Like belt buckle. He's rode bulls. Like so, 100% cowboy. Maybe it's a little guy thing. I don't know. He's a little guy too.
Full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah. So we're out and we're in East Jesus, Montana. It's very like open, not rolling, but like not mountains, like halfway in between, right? And somehow he spotted these deer in way up this. This giant draw, and so we get out and we're sneaking around, and we go down this cut, and we come up, and I remember he's got his ultra mag, and he sees these deer, and they're running across the hill, and they bolt, right? But they're bolt at like, I don't want to Ron Cantrell it right now and exaggerate, but I'm gonna say like 700 yards, right? It's a long ways, right? Mm-hmm. And again, Jason is a little cowboy. Like he's like built like a brick shit house, itty bitty guy, and he just like falls to the ground, and literally like as soon as I can like range it, and I want to say it was more than 700 yards. I want to say it was like 760 or 765. I remember ranging it, and as soon as I range it, and he drops to the ground with his ultra mag, bipods out, and like he fell and goes boom that fast, and we got it on camera, and this deer stands up and falls backwards because they're running up this draw and about to go over the top, maybe like 20 yards from the top, and he falls down and boom shoots, and this deer stands up and tumbles down, and I was like, that's one of the most amazing shots I've ever seen in my life. It was so fast.
This is how quick he was.
0% chance of me making that shot. Not a chance.
Did he
luck.
dial or anything?
Yeah.
Or did he
he dials. Like he drops, like literally like fell to the ground, like didn't get down, falls to the ground, bipods out, rifle out, and I'm like 0-65, and he's like that fast.
Jeez.
And dude smoked this deer.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit.
That's impressive.
It's Jason Bourne. It was we have it on video. It's amazing. I want to say I had a video made years ago on the Cantrell Outdoors, I got like one video on it, the Cantrell Outdoors YouTube page.
Go check it out, folks.
Which is hilarious because I paid a guy a shit ton of money to make a video for Cantrell Outdoors, and it's all Jason.
Really?
It's a guy in the cowboy hat. Yeah, that's Jason. Like, watch this video. It's hilarious. It's a great video.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's a great video.
Do the podcast.
But you see this deer like pile up backwards. That's the deer he shot. It's still to this day in 44 years. It's the most incredible shot I've ever seen. Yeah,
nice.
James. He's like a James Forsland.
We'll have to beat it.
Yeah.
I'm not shooting no 700 yards.
Good
like
luck,
that,
dude. He's a fucking cowboy.
Wow.
He's a cowboy.
I mean, I'm fast. I can.
You are
hold out and
fast.
shoot
You're
fast.
you're a fast shot for sure.
But I'm not going to be shooting that distance that fast. I mean, I might try, but
Dude, he's He's like an older.
Shoot him! He's gonna blow out.
Yeah, he's an older.
better take the shot.
Hurry up! 700 yards away. What do you mean he's gonna blow out?
Doug's the one who rushed me on the last one. He's like, "Shoot! He's in the creek."
Oh, jeez.
That was so good, by the way. Is that out, Doug?
No.
Okay, so Doug's working on the spring bear in the Quinault.
The Quinault hunt, yeah.
Where I did not shoot a bear. And he got some of the, shout out to Doug. He got some of the best footage. So him and James, I don't want to spoil the thing, but they were walking up on a bait. Long story short, a bear like blew out. If you've never been to the Quinault, it is so thick.
There's so many little trees that
It
are
is
like
so thick.
6 inches
Reprod
around.
Central.
Yeah.
So
And-
like if your camera's on autofocus, like forget about it.
Yeah.
That was my problem. Note to self: don't
Doug-
put your camera in autofocus.
Doug, you did a great job. James, you did a great job. So back to the cowboy quick shooting. Literally, this bear blows out. Doug's like, "Damn, we did it great!" And he's like, and James pulls up and just boom and shoots this bear. It's awesome. It's
It
gonna
was
be
so
cool.
fast.
it's so fast.
It's a little Blair Witch Project kind of footage on that.
It's
but
fantastic.
I think
Yeah,
it
the-
adds to the film because it's real and it's raw.
love
The
it.
fact that I was even able to get the camera rolling and get the bear in the frame for like a second, even
It's-
though
it's
it
super
wasn't
good.
in focus, was
Yeah.
like,
It's so good. It's really good.
And Doug was like, "He's in the creek."
and
It
then,
was
I,
so
and then I
good.
almost ate shit like trying to get in a better spot, and then I'm like, shoot! And Jim just pulls the trigger as I'm saying that. I was
Yeah.
like, holy
We
hell!
were in the same
Yeah,
wavelength
it was so fast.
because Doug was thinking, "This bear's gonna blow out again."
It's hard to see the situation, right, as a hunter, and then to tie in, because I can say this because I used to film. So my old hunting buddy Travis and I used to do this shit all the time, right? So it's hard to be there as a hunter because you know what's going on, right? And if you're not a hunter and you're just a cameraman, it's not the same.
Nope,
It's not the same.
no.
And to be able to see what's going on, and then to have the wherewithal to be like, oh, I have a camera in my hand, I got to put that on the critter, and then at the same time know everything that's going on, and everything's happened so fast. It's like, oh, there's a bear, where's the shooter, where there's branches. I got to make sure that I'm not in front of the muzzle because I'm gonna get my eardrums blown out. Like there's so much that's going on.
Oh, you could tell Doug was in the zone.
Oh,
Like he was focused in that moment, even being surprised to be like,
It's so
as
good.
I'm focused on
Yeah.
using my gun to shoot a bear, Doug's focused on
you guys were.
I'm
I
getting
had
this
no
on
idea
camera.
what you were doing. I'm like, Jimmy's in the creek, shoot him!
It was so good.
I was like trying to hurry you up,
Yeah.
basically, is
It
what
was so
I was
good.
trying
The-
to do.
The whole thing was the film is really good.
it's looking awesome.
It's really good.
Doug's gonna be done with it maybe month, maybe
Yeah.
probably, give or take.
Tune-
Hopefully,
tune in tomorrow.
hopefully
It's
by
almost there.
It's good.
by the time that bear season's open and in swing, hopefully it will be out.
It's really good.
We're close to out.
I feel like there's not really a whole lot I have to do. A little bit of cleanup and then just add some stuff to it. And I'm not really big into the whole like special effect thing.
There's a lot of that now.
You know,
yeah.
like I see a lot of it. I'm like, I compare myself to that a little bit, and I go, why do you have to sugarcoat it?
Like, why do you need to?
Yeah.
Because
Like, I feel like raw footage is always better.
I feel like there's two different kinds. There's two different kinds of people that watch hunting content, right? There's people who want to be entertained in the same way when they watch a Netflix show.
Yeah.
And then there's people who want the real raw side of it, that get that experience to feel
And
like
I feel
they're
like,
in the moment.
and I feel
right?
like that's kind of like what we're going for. Even like as I progress into further understanding the editing side of doing all of this, you know, putting all that extra pizzazz on something is just, that's not my thing.
yeah.
I feel like we're in if I'm gonna take it back to my real estate roots, Doug, I'm gonna say we're rustic refined.
Rustic refined.
Rustic
I like
refined.
that.
I like that too.
Yeah, we're rustic refined. Bear Country is very much rustic refined.
We'll go back to the the old 20-year-old films.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say shit, and I'm gonna yank some shots, and like, you know what I'm saying. And sometimes it is what it is.
We've been compared to being the Waylon Jennings of the outdoor industry.
I've been told that we're the Waylon Jennings of the outdoor
That's more of a
industry.
compliment
Yeah,
to me.
And that's okay. I'll take that any day.
yeah. You know?
I mean,
Yeah, because who doesn't like Waylon Jennings?
dude. So man.
YouTube's and
So speaking of, I made a reel or whatever I did on the old Cantrell Outdoors, right? I'm like, when I made the building a rifle deal, right?
right.
And I'm like, I'm gonna tag Bear Country, right? And so I type in bear, and it usually just pops right up. Mm-hmm. No results found. Bear, and I'm spelling COU, and I'm cute, and I had to do Bear Country complete before we popped up, and I'm like, those sons of guns.
Yeah, they got our hashtag banned too.
Really?
Yeah, so our hashtag when you put in hashtag Bear Country Outdoors, we
Right.
have like well over 1,000 hashtags, right? So we usually would pop out. You type in Bear Cunt, or
Right.
bam, 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 Bear Country, or even Bear CO, and it always pops up number one, right?
Yeah.
And then the last month or so, it quit popping up at all. And then you have to type it out, and you can get all the way to the end until you type it in completely. It doesn't even show up.
And I was a little worried because, we have a lot of great sponsors, right? And I'm like, I hope our sponsors don't like. And then all of a sudden, I see our sponsors getting shadow banned, and I'm like,
Yeah.
interesting. These big companies are getting served shit sandwiches as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time in the outdoor industry.
We're not.
We're in the midst of the shit.
I don't even know what to
basically.
do anymore at this point. I don't even care. We have almost 9,000 followers on Instagram, and those are the followers we have now, because it doesn't seem like we can
Doesn't
gain
grow.
anything.
No, same thing. My gun shop's been shadow banned forever. Like, I got crap for followers,
Right.
but like, it doesn't stop me from keep posting
Yeah.
nonsense.
And we got the plus side is we have almost 9,000 people who like our content and that are really supportive. So
thanks, people.
Yep.
thanks to those almost 9,000 people who are supportive.
Yeah, tell your friends.
And all the 1,550 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
We
I'm pretty
appreciate it.
jacked about that.
Me too.
I really am.
We're gaining very slowly.
It's very slowly, but we're still gaining a few here
Yeah.
and there.
Speaking of,
Which will also shadow ban on YouTube, by the
The
way.
Oh,
YouTubes.
100%.
I think that we should do
Well, it's owned by Google. What do you expect?
Yeah, we should do a YouTube giveaway, Doug.
A YouTube,
YouTube giveaway.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, like a YouTube, like
what do we want to give away?
someone who comments on you. Comments on YouTube.
We haven't
right?
done one for a long time.
Yeah, we should do a YouTube giveaway.
What do you want to give away? Chris is gonna give away.
I'm giving away. We have a Bear Country Outdoors T-shirt that's a limited edition. We're not making it anymore, and it was from our incredible film that we did.
Oh, yeah.
That these guys did a great job on. I'm super proud of everyone. My dad's in it. It was awesome, and we will give away a signed T-shirt of your sizing. We have like every size: small, medium, large, extra large, 2X. I think we even have 3X.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we'll mail it to you for free.
Don't hold us to it.
I'm pretty sure we do.
We're pretty bad at that, but
I'm pretty sure we do.
we say one thing. And
The 1 3X guy that's out there is like, I don't know.
You sons of bitches.
He's like, this is a 2X. You son of a bitch.
Stretch it out, bro. Yeah, we'll sign a shirt and we'll mail it to you for free.
Ooh.
Or you can come pick it up in the gun shop.
We'll even kiss it for luck for your bear season.
I'm not kissing it.
Yes, he is.
I'm not
Yes,
kissing
he
it.
is, everybody.
I'll sign the shit out of it, though.
I'm gonna take a video of you kissing it.
Hell, I'll put a bullet hole in it if you want me to. Yeah, I will. I'll shoot it for you.
Like what was it? Kevin? Is it Kevin Murphy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Murphy, Small Game
Kevin
Nation.
Murphy.
Kevin Murphy, you son of a bitch. He sent us a T-shirt. That guy is cool as hell.
Yeah, he shot some holes in it.
He
He's
shot
like,
some holes in it.
Shot some holes in it.
you. Don't you remember the meat eater guy,
Yeah,
Kevin Murphy?
Kevin Murphy from
He
Meat
sent
Eater,
us.
yeah,
He
Small
just
Game Nation.
he saw that we were doing a fundraiser, and I didn't even know who he was at that time, and he was just like, "I'm gonna send you guys some stuff," and he sent me a poster that was like all smeared signatures on it, and then of like the meat eater crew,
So-
and then that T-shirt with the bullet holes shot
So here's
through
the
it.
kicker. The guy that bought that T-shirt, not making this up. So my buddy who bought me the tickets to the Meat Eater show in like Tacoma or wherever that was, and I took my dad to. We go down there, which the show was awesome, by the way, the Meat Eater show. And we're getting ready to leave, and there's a dude that walks up, and he holds his shirt up, and it's and it's a guy who bought the shirt at our fundraiser and was like, "Sign my shirt," and they signed his shirt,
That's so.
and it was so cool. Yeah,
good for him.
those freaking meat eater guys are
and
pretty
he got
cool.
it from us.
Yeah, that he got from us. Yeah,
And which he raised money to sue the state of Washington for,
Yeah.
With Sportsman Alliance.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which we're still waiting on the final results of the appeal and all that shit. But we have a new one coming out. I can't tell you about it because it's not finalized yet. But
There's a new lawsuit that's in the works.
there's 2 new lawsuits.
Ooh, I like that.
There's 2 new ones. I've been working my ass off on this, guys. It's a freaking lot of work to sue the state and their total buttholes, and I wish I could sue them for more, but it's like it's very in depth.
And they've kept that link open, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. That link is still on our website.
So if you wanna help fund suing our game commission here in Washington,
Yeah.
you can still donate through a link on our website to Sportsman Alliance and help fund some of this because
Craziness.
we're not making much progress right now.
We're not making a lot of progress, but we're giving her hell. We're not quitting.
We're like Trump after he almost got assassinated. Fight, fight, fight.
Dude, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. I hope no one shoots at me.
Yeah, right.
That would suck.
Just turn your head so slightly.
Just slightly. What a mess that is. What a mess we're in, right?
Yeah, this country's just
There is so
in
much
chaos.
behind that has just come out. It's just like
I feel like
We should have him on the podcast.
Trump, come be on the podcast.
You know, hey, I'm gonna throw this out there because I think he's that.
we
cool.
might be able to get his son on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. He's like a super cool dude.
Don
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah. Don Jr., you want to come on, dude?
We
Come
have some mutual friends.
Yeah, that'd be
We
great.
do have some mutual friends. Don, you could come on the podcast, dude. We
Yep.
hang out.
We could talk about all the
Chris
conspiracies.
will put you up in his lovely house here.
Yeah.
I'll put you up in the lodge, dude. You'll be completely safe. We're guarded 24/7 by SWAT teams and police, and
Hey,
you know,
Yeah, there won't be any trouble with that.
me, Chris, and Doug could probably do a better job of protecting
Oh yeah, 100%.
after what I saw.
we're pretty good. I'm not
I mean,
gonna lie.
that was a pretty big embarrassment.
I know, dude.
How can you trust your Secret Service after something like that?
You
what's-
can't.
You know what's messed up?
You can't do this. Those are the best of
It's
the
like
best
the
of the best,
more
right?
like every day there's more stuff that comes out. Like
It blows my mind. Speaking of, so recap, last week we talked about how they messed up the whole system, right? And everyone
Yeah.
got screwed.
which that podcast will be available soon.
Yes, it will be available by the time you hear this for sure.
Yeah, like it's already up on the YouTube.
So
They just got to make it public.
little update to that. Chris checked
Yep.
and nothing changed.
Nope.
Doug,
Nothing
you
changed
checked?
for me.
Nothing changed. I checked. My daughter's out there waving. Hi, honey. I checked. I drew a ready drum roll.
Eat a dick.
No, pretty much.
Yeah.
I drew my second choice cow tag.
That's pretty awesome.
So I got a cow tag.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy about
Yeah.
that. And I am gonna fill that son of a bitch because I feel like that might be the last elk I shoot in the state of Washington. The way
Well,
we're going.
you said, well, I know what you said where, and I have a buddy that lives over there, and I will make sure to put that out to make sure he's looking around.
We just need to know where the elks are.
Yeah. And he works over there.
And that's
so-
where Bjorn drew his bull tag last year. So
Yeah.
I'll talk to him too and see
Yeah.
if he's
Well,
got
my
any
buddy,
little tips.
my buddy works near there.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes up in there a lot.
Oh,
and
yeah?
he's thinking about doing that too.
Hunt the same unit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
For,
he
like,
doesn't. But he doesn't have a
archery or
muzzleloader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Well, that could work out. I'm hoping that Doug kills his bull
I hope I kill
during archery
something
season,
because I
or
am
a cow,
because
you
whatever.
Can, yeah, because you can shoot a cow or bull.
Yeah. It's
And-
any elk in archery over there, and then we'll go over into your unit
So the
And
plan is maybe I'll go and film Doug, and hopefully he kills an elk during archery,
yeah,
and then we need to get over there and put out some salt.
I will be, because that's what I'm gonna do when I go over beginning of August. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going over Labor Day weekend. I'm gonna go put out more salt.
Nice.
So by the time we go over there for opening weekend, there should be a shit ton of elk hitting that. So it should
Woo.
be.
All we need is one elk.
Yep.
One
We
elk.
just need one to come in there.
You know, we're not picky, folks. We
Nope.
don't. We don't need a giant 400-inch bull. We just.
I mean,
one cow.
that's the bonus, but
Yeah.
I will take what I can, get.
meat in the freezer is number
Yes.
one.
They're
100%.
so tasty. They're so tasty.
So tasty.
Well, we definitely went on some big rants today, Doug.
We did. And I hope that we are successful in a lot of things that we're trying to do this year, because we got a lot. We're trying to get some elk this year.
Yep.
We're trying to kill a couple bears.
Yep.
Chris is going to Africa.
Yep.
My dad's gonna be
He's
awesome.
also going to go do the Alaska thing. Which
Yep.
Yep.
And the Idaho and the
Idaho and
We both are
Montana.
going to
Washington.
Idaho and Montana and Washington season. So we got a big year ahead of us.
Yeah.
Stay tuned,
And
folks. It's gonna be
hopefully
awesome.
we can make it happen and get a lot of stuff on
Good
the
luck
ground.
to everybody going out for bear.
Yeah.
Good luck to everybody this season in general.
Yeah.
We hope that all of you are prosperous and fill your freezers and have all the bears.
Speaking of, real quick, I had a couple guys reach out to me asking about how did I learn how to hunt, number one. Number two, when you hunt, when you kill something, what do you do? Right? As far as animal disarticulation, right? How do you cut it up? What do you do with it? How do you gut it? I got this dead critter, right? So there's a couple of guys. 'Cause we can't be there for everybody, right? I would love to be there for you,
I mean, our best suggestion is to go hunt with somebody that's done it before
right?
to get your feet wet, but
if
you
you
can never
can't-
do that. If you can't, there's, a lot
I
of
feel like
things-
there's a YouTube, right?
Yes.
So there's I don't know about you guys, but there's some guys on the internet. It's called the Bearded Butchers, and
those guys are the shit.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally.
They are even getting shadow banned.
Oh, they get shadow banned. We're not
Hard.
We're
Really?
Not, We
Yeah.
don't have any affiliation with them. They don't
Yeah.
send us their spices. If you want to send us
Because
some spice, send me
It's
some
something to
spice.
do with the whole beef thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So go
Yeah,
follow.
they're
follow the
getting
Bearded
shadow
Butchers,
banned. Yeah.
But they cut up wild game as well,
Yeah.
and they have
And they
really
have
good.
millions of followers, and they're getting shadow banned.
Yeah,
Wow.
they have good how-to videos.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of really good outdoor guys that do this, but they specifically do meat. Period.
Yeah, they're
right?
professional butchers.
Yeah, so you should follow them. Watch their videos. I think you should go and follow anybody who has any sort of outdoor content and figure out hey, this is how you do it. Bear, deer, elk, whatever you want to do. And
Yeah, just learning the butchering process. That's a good. Watch their YouTube. They're really thorough on a lot of things that they do.
yeah, and not to be a Debbie Downer, but let's say that something happened to where you couldn't go to the grocery store. Like, say for instance, the other day, the worst case scenario happened. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for your family? What are you gonna do for yourself? If we have to go back to the days of hey, I can go out in the woods and kill stuff and I can cut it up myself and I can eat it. I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried about my family. I will take care of them. I am prepared. I'm worried about other people who are good human beings that don't know how to do this. And there's a fair amount of them. So we have this incredible resource. We live in these times where it's you can get on your phone and learn this stuff.
Yeah.
And before you needed to know the old crusty guy, Dan Warren, who's an old hunting buddy of mine, who knew this is how you do this. This is how you cut a loin steak. These are I think you did a little bit on his deer. oh, these are the glands you got to cut out. You know, and
the
things,
glands are an important thing to know about because no
There you
one's
go.
going to know unless
Everyone's
you do
throwing that in
it,
the
or
hamburger.
you cut through it and go, man, this thing tastes like shit.
Yeah.
and that's
You
a
know?
good point. So you got to know. You got to know.
I didn't know that bears had 4 glands like deep behind their their 4 joints and their shoulders and their hips. I didn't know that.
And so you got to know who knows, right?
Yeah.
So follow people who know. I would love to put out some content like that this year. Hopefully we do. Mm-hmm. And
We've talked about it. We're gonna do
We've
it.
tried, you know.
We did try to
here and
do
there.
one video, but it just didn't turn out very good.
it's probably because of me.
It probably had
It was a joint effort.
too much whiskey.
Too many beers.
It's usually because of me, guys.
That's usually the case.
Yeah, it's like, well, this is like a C-. So
Here's the deal, guys. I work 3 jobs. I get tired. I say stuff. They got to cut it out.
We worry about it later,
Yeah.
or we just deal with it.
that's right.
But I've given out some pro tips today, and I feel like that's a really
100%,
good pro
yeah.
tip. So, you know,
100%.
James, what's your pro tip?
My pro tip, like, what do you mean for
In general,
in general?
what's the best pro tip you can give the listeners right now?
If you're getting into hunting, find someone who maybe you're not going to hunt with, but that you can use as a confidant and get information from. And when you have questions, you can ask those questions. So if it's an old guy around you that's hunted a lot in the past that can't maybe make it up on the mountain,
They love telling stories.
they love telling stories,
You know,
and they'll explain stuff.
Yeah, pick people's brains that have done it and been out there
And if you can get in with someone who knows what they're doing, try to get in and follow them around and learn as much as you can when you can.
having a mentor is extremely important because
And
we
be
were
patient.
lucky enough to have family members that mentored us in the woods to learn how to do everything.
And we got bits and pieces from lots of different family members.
Yeah,
It wasn't just our
one.
dads or,
Yeah,
like our dads probably taught us the most, but we picked up bits and pieces from.
you learn the do's and don'ts,
Yep.
basically.
We learned a lot of do's and a lot
Yeah.
of don'ts at the same time.
You
But
learn from your mistakes.
getting out there and actually putting your effort into hunting is probably the biggest thing. Like, you actually have to get out there and be on the landscape and do stuff to learn. You're not going to ever shoot a deer sitting from your couch.
And for everyone that thinks that's going to happen on your first day out, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to guys.
It happens.
But that was my other pro tip, is be patient with the process, because the process can take a lot.
Yeah.
And you could go a long time before you have success. And
What's Doug's best pro tip?
Just keep hammering at it because you never know.
You Cameron Haynes, son of a bitch. I like that. It is. You know what?
Because, I mean, to be honest with you guys, it's been, almost 5 years since I killed a bear.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's really hard.
Everyone makes it look easy, but the shit ain't easy.
No. And Doug's rolling with the bear hunters.
I've been in the places where they are. Just, it's the bears are where you find them.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I paid a lot of money this spring to shoot a bear, a particular bear. I could have shot an itty bitty bear, didn't, because we're not total pieces of shit, just medium pieces of shit. And man, that was an expensive tag to eat. And Doug and I just grinded it out, and just I couldn't make it happen.
It's hard. It's even if you think it's a guarantee, it's hard.
I thought I'm shooting.
And you can make it hard on yourself, just as hard as it is doing it.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, enjoy the process, because enjoy the time you're out, even if you're not successful.
Hunting is always hard. It's never easy. You just have to enjoy it, because as soon as you stop enjoying hunting, it's not fun. And what's the point of hunting if it ain't fun?
I will tell you this. I've noticed this.
Unless you're really hungry, then I guess you
Yeah.
pretty much have to.
Yeah.
So to bring it back to the business world, right? So my day job is real estate outside of the gun shop, and that's what really pays the bills. And I see guys, and I know guys that make tens and hundreds of millions. I know billionaires, right, in the real estate industry. And it's funny to see, to me, right, to take a step back and to see guys that are worth billions of dollars, and they get into hunting, like late adult onset hunters, because it's so challenging and it's so difficult. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but I don't know if I'd ever hang out with this guy, but like Mark Zuckerberg got into bow hunting for deer, right? Probably because it's so difficult, because he can buy anything. Rich guys can buy anything, right? If you have $1 billion, you can literally buy anything you want. You can't buy a deer, though. Like, if you go out in the woods, like, and don't get me wrong, you go to a ranch or whatever, but like
Technically, you could,
but like,
Yeah.
but like, say for instance, if it's open season, right? Like, if we're in Washington, we go to the, Skagit Arms, we buy a tag, we're going out, and we're like, we're gonna go shoot a deer, and we don't pay for it, right? We don't pay for like the deer, we just pay for the tag, we pay for the opportunity to shoot a deer. It's incredibly difficult to shoot a deer or a bear.
your chances are just as good as his in the same area
Yeah.
Right.
at the same time.
It levels the playing field for everyone.
So
Rich or poor.
yeah, 100%. So
That's why hunting is so humbling, and that's why we have that saying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Because if you can't stay humble, then you're definitely not going to hunt hard, because you're going to give up pretty quick.
and I can tell you this. I remember
Yep.
I remember the first time James had said that, and like Doug put it on a shirt, and I was like, there are so many guys that are going to eat a shit sandwich because of this, because they don't stay humble. And I was one of those guys, right? Because I killed tons of stuff, right? I'm a big deal. And then you go out, and when you don't kill something, it's soul crushing. Soul crushing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so attractive to guys that have everything, guys that have billions of dollars, and they go out and they go, holy shit, I failed and I tried my hardest. When I can get anything I want, I can buy any car, I can buy any house. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to hunting, like, you don't get it.
You can go all in. You can put in everything you have and still walk away with nothing.
100%. Yeah. That bear dealt me a big shit sandwich this spring. I spent the money, guys.
Chris really had to stay humble.
He 100% put all his money on black.
He hunted hard, but he stayed humble.
Yeah, he did.
And and I can't wait to.
That's what you have to do.
I hope I get an opportunity back at that bear, but I'll tell you what, like, I'll for the rest of my life, I'll remember that bear.
It's
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
remember it
And sometimes
forever.
that's worth more than just walking in and killing that bear.
Memories.
Off the bat.
Yep, 100%.
Those are the ones that stick with you. Well, Doug, we've been going a long time.
We have been. Let's thank our sponsors. Loophole, Montana Knife Company.
Coors Light.
Coors Light hopefully will be a sponsor for us very, very shortly.
That would be nice.
Maybe a whiskey company or two, because me and Chris like the whiskeys.
I'm a big Woodford. Anything by Buffalo Trace. I'm a big.
Oh yeah, anything that's Kentucky.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Woodford, I'm a big fan.
MDT.
Yep.
New
Was
sponsor.
one of the new ones.
American Rifle Co.
American Rifle Co.
Oh,
we
we
just
ju-
got our brand new benchmarks.
We just got the benchmark barrels. Did we want to show one of those off?
Yeah, to go grab one of those, Doug.
Get
Grab
it,
one of
Doug.
them, Doug. So we just got our new carbon fiber gain twist barrels.
Yeah. So the guys who aren't familiar with with these barrels, I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to be cutting these in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be building 300 PRCs. We're going to be taking these all across the Western United States and the world, honestly, because I'm going to take mine to South Africa and hunt literally world record crocs with it. So I'm super excited.
That's gonna be freaking epic.
That's going to be this week's project, hopefully.
Yeah,
Later this week.
Hopefully, Chris's hunt is going to be the video of the year
I think it will
when he
be.
shoots that 25-foot croc.
that would be pretty cool, Doug. I don't know if they get that big, but that would be awesome.
And then he gets home.
Lake Placid.
And then he gets home and he's like, guys, we're going to have to remodel the house. Make room.
So so I own the gun shop, right? I'm the gunsmith, and I'm excited about these, probably a little bit more than James and Doug, for the sheer fact that Ron, who's one of the owners, who's on the podcast, he's a competition shooter, right? And so he shoots and has won a ton of awards, and then Barry, who's a fantastic human being, same with Bill. They're 5 minutes from the shop. I gotta drive down and see them, but I gotta talk to them, and I gotta nerd out a little bit because I'm very much into accuracy and long range, and I gotta talk with them about the very, very specific details of barrel manufacturing. And I got to go see, and I couldn't show you guys a bunch of the stuff because it's very proprietary, but like the gain twist on these barrels, right? So they have computer controlled machines that come through, and it's not like the old button rifle barrels where these are cut rifled gain twist, to meaning where like we're going to shoot heavy bullets, right? So this is all the new rage, like the very sexy, like 300 PRC. That's what we're building. Mm-hmm. So we have these much smaller. So I'm typically an ultra mag guy, where I'm shooting, like today I went to the range and I shot 97.5 grains of Ratumbo, and we're shooting 210 or 215s or 230s, and have great results. But these new cartridges have all these different angles, and now you can shoot like high 70s, like you can shoot 78, 79 grains of powder, and you getting these same results out of these giant 30 cal bullets. But you need specific things. You need different shoulder angles. You need to load them out farther. You need different twist rates, right? So these with the gain twist, meaning they start slower and end faster in the end of the barrel, which is insane to me.
That's freaking awesome.
Dude, it's crazy, right? And I'm talking to Ron about this because he's, like I said, he's not only a really smart guy, he owns a barrel manufacturing company, but he's a shooter. Like, first and foremost, he's a shooter, right? So it's like, the guy who shoots a gun. And
he loves to pull the trigger just as much
and
as
he
any
won
of
the
us.
lottery, and he has a bunch of money. That's Ron.
Yeah.
Right? Because he has a bunch of money now, so he's like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make these cool barrels that exactly, like, this is what I want to win, and this is what we have now. Mm-hmm. Like, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. So
living his dream.
I'm really excited.
I'm just stoked that we have, like, I don't know, 6 different companies that are all on board to do one rifle.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
The big kicker for me, right?
And every single product is like the bee's knees.
That's the point. That's the point I was going to say. Like, they're the best companies.
Yes.
It's not like, we're getting like the shitty companies.
No.
It's the best.
bee's knees of what's out there.
Incredible barrels, incredible action.
The fact that we're
triggers.
able to keep it local too is just it's a cherry on top.
Yeah, literally.
Northwest specials.
The only thing that is literally not in the Northwest is Timney triggers.
Yeah, and they're Phoenix. They're from
Phoenix.
they're 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, they're Timney triggers.
Yeah.
They're the best.
So I'm still
triggers.
counting them local because
Yeah.
my house in Peoria is close.
Close enough, guys.
Close enough. So really excited. So next week, hopefully,
we're starting this build series.
We're going to start the build series. It's going to be on YouTube. Doug's going to film a ton of it. I'm going to make his dad, who's an old arthritic, man. I'm going to force him to come up and work and knit and do things. It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. So we got all of our sponsors shouted out. Oh, Numa.
Numa's
Numa
a new
Caribou
one.
Gear.
Caribou Gear.
Caribou Gear and Olin.
Mm-hmm. And Olin. Is it Olin or Allin?
I think it's All In.
All in.
I
Is
think
it
it's
Olin?
All in.
I'm
all in or Olin?
Olin with Olin.
I'm all in with Olin.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
excited to use your stuff. I got to call those guys because it fits your guys' stuff. It doesn't fit my stuff. So I got to
Okay.
see if they have a.
Send a message.
Yeah, send a message.
All right. I think
Well,
that pretty much covers us.
Yeah. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Can't wait. The season's coming up. Hopefully kill a lot of stuff this year. But until next time, stay humble and hunt hard, guys.